working for you. Fox 2 News at 6 starts now.
Hello and welcome to the HD Show. We are monitoring some breaking news out of Bruce Township, where one suspect has been allegedly shot by a Michigan State Police trooper.
Yeah, this happened just a couple of hours ago. MSP says no injuries were reported to any police officers, while we're working to see what led up to this shooting. Fox 2's Tanisha Cordell just arrived on scene and joins us now live with the latest on the investigation. Probably fast-moving, Tanisha.
Yeah, you know what? We're here on Van Dyke in between 34 and 35 Mile. I'll just get out of the way so you can kind of see it. We've been seeing officials kind of canvassing what looks like a Jeep Cherokee right there in the middle of the field. Looking through that, you still have, again, Macomb County sheriffs out here, MSP, all working the scene, very active. As you mentioned, this happened a few hours ago, originally reported around 4 p.m. We did know and have you confirmed a trooper-involved shooting. Again, no injuries to that trooper, but one suspect with gunshot wounds to the leg, we're told, and that's reported. We're expecting to hear from the MSP PIO in just a few minutes, so we're hoping to get some more information soon. But you look around this neighborhood and just down this road, there's homes on both sides, so hoping to get some information of what some people saw here and what really led to the situation. Again, very active as they continue kind of canvassing. We'll keep you updated on air and online as soon as we hear more. Dave, Hilary.
Yeah, and Tanisha, I know you're still waiting for additional information from Michigan State Police, but I know typically they will often bring in outside investigators when it comes to some sort of interaction that leads to wounding or death involving a police officer. Have they said anything about their investigatory process?
Again, we're just getting on the scene, so we haven't heard from the PIO yet. We're going to hear from him in a few minutes. So, again, hoping to answer that question and many more, Hilary. I have no doubt, again, you have Macomb County sheriffs out here, again, MSP working on this as well, hoping to get that information as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you, Tanisha, for tracking this story for us and arriving. I know it's absolutely developing right now. Thanks so much.
People get rid of things where they feel like they can get rid of things and get away with it. Police, they only got so much they can do with the law. And so, a lot of times it goes unresolved.
Another story that's just developing right now, where a body discovered on Detroit's east side. Firefighters were called to the scene of a fire on Fairport Street Saturday morning. When they arrived, they found a small fire in a vacant lot next to a home. Once those flames were put out, a body was discovered. Police tell us this is now a homicide investigation.
And new at 6, Detroit Central United Methodist Church, a historic center of social justice and activism, welcomed a special guest for today's service.
We're talking about UAW President Shawn Fain to shed some light on the intersection of faith, labor, and the ongoing fight for economic justice. Fox 2's Ingrid Kelly has that story.
On behalf of 1 million active and retired UAW members, it is an honor to be here.
UAW President Shawn Fain taking his message to the pulpit at Central United Methodist Church in Detroit.
We're living through hard times. Working people are under attack. Our rights are under attack. Our democracy is under attack.
Fain says this is not a new fight.
Greedy corporations, CEOs that see working people as tools to be used up and thrown away. Politicians, unfortunately, under Democrats and Republicans alike, have sold us out to billionaires.
As an advocate for workers' rights, Fain says the fight for justice will not be won without action from everyone.
But we are not powerless. Not if we stand together in solidarity. One thing we cannot afford in this time, we cannot afford quietism that soothes us into silence.
Fain made it clear it's not just workers he's concerned about.
Health care is a privilege, not a right. That retirement should be a gamble on Wall Street.
Church leaders at Central United Methodist believe Lent is the perfect time to call for change.
Here, inviting President Fain in the midst of Lent is really our hope is that we hear a message of solidarity, of how to fight in the midst of this challenging moment.
And Fain was invited to speak here because Central United Methodist Church is no stranger to the pursuit of justice.
We've been in the United Methodist Church at the forefront of LGBTQ inclusion, and over the last 7 years, we've provided sanctuary housing for immigrant families, both seeking asylum and fighting deportation cases.
President Fain believes the church is the perfect place to mobilize a movement, and the time to fight is now.
We must have faith, and we must stand up and protest in solidarity and put humanity first.
In Detroit, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2 News.
Also new at 6, a federal judge is limiting President Donald Trump's ability to deport violent immigrants. This was prompted by the administration invoking an 18th century law. A U.S. district judge issued a stop order on migrant flight deportations after the president invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Now, the law usually used during war allows a president more control of policy and granting them executive action to speed up deportations. Deportations will be halted for the next 14 days until another hearing can happen.
Meantime, there is fallout on Capitol Hill. Some Democrats are speaking out after 10 Senate Democrats voted for a Republican-led spending bill. Fox's Madeline Rivera has reactions from those Democratic lawmakers in Washington.
A lot of Democrats are not buying Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's argument that a government shutdown would have been worse than the GOP spending bill. They say they need to hold on to every ounce of power they have as they try to counter the Trump administration.
Yes, it would have been a risk. I understand the decision that many of my Democratic colleagues made, but I think the American people want us to take risks right now in order to save our democracy.
New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying on Blue Sky, Senate Dems have now blown a hole in their ability to work with the House. All but one House Democrat voted against the spending bill. There are reports Ocasio-Cortez is being urged to challenge Schumer in a Democratic primary. Democratic Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett says it's a bit too early to consider that prospect, but she also says this.
I can tell you that there are a lot of people that are watching his leadership in this moment. I definitely think that younger, fresher leadership may be something that many of us, not just depending on what part of the spectrum you're on, but many Americans may be looking for, especially in the state of New York.
There's anger outside of Capitol Hill as well. One progressive group, Indivisible, is calling on Schumer to step aside, equating his decision to fund the government with giving in to President Trump. The organization's co-executive director saying Schumer, quote, led the charge to wave the white flag of surrender. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says he'll have a conversation with Schumer at some point today. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
There we have our first images of the crew inside the Dragon spacecraft as they make their way into orbit.
The International Space Station rolls out the welcome mat. NASA's SpaceX Crew 10 team took off for a rescue mission. The crew reunited with astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore this morning. The two have been stuck in space for 9 months on a mission only meant to last about 8 days after their Boeing Starliner capsule encountered too many problems to bring them back safely.
Crew 10 has had a great journey up here, about 28 hours to get back up to the space station, and I cannot tell you the immense joy of our crew when we looked out the window and we saw the space station.
And SpaceX's capsule will splash down on Florida's coast with Williams and Wilmore by Wednesday, of course, if weather permits.
Speaking of weather, it's about that time. Spring break in full swing, and some southern states like Florida are facing an influx of young adults who come to enjoy the time off.
But as the beaches fill up, authorities are on alert for potential crime. Fox's Dana Marie McNichol has more from Dayton Beach.
There are hundreds of spring breakers on the beach here in Daytona. Deputies tell us with increased crowds like this come extra security. That's why we got in the sky with the Volusia County Sheriff's Department, showing how to patrol things that might be missed on the ground. They look for things like potential emergencies, someone distressed in the water, and monitor the cars that are allowed to drive on the beach. For deputies on the sand, there's never a dull moment. Dealing with underage drinking and theft. This week, they caught this man allegedly stealing cell phones. They're also on high alert for potential gun violence.
Weapons are always a concern. In Florida, it is a constitutional carry state, so you don't need a permit to carry a gun as long as you're not a convicted felon. So it is one of the things that presents a unique challenge.
Last year on this beach, a 16-year-old was arrested after pulling out a gun during a drug deal. The sheriff's office says they also worry about fentanyl, people coming from out of town to sell drugs and prey on spring breakers, especially those underage. People here in Daytona, though, this year look forward to having a great time.
Good sun, good beaches, nice water, getting out of the West Virginia cold.
There is not 2 feet of empty sand anywhere. There's towels and people and umbrellas, people playing football.
If you're arrested here in Daytona and are underage, the sheriff says your parents are going to have to come pick you up. This week, a mom drove 250 miles to pick up her daughter for underage drinking. Probably not a very fun car ride home. I'm Dana Marie McNichol in Daytona Beach for Fox News.
Big changes for us today. Remember, yesterday we had numbers in the middle 70s. Now we have our cold front well off to our east. There is some energy on the backside, producing some more showers and even a few wet flakes off to our west, but it's going to be cooler for tonight and for tomorrow. Yes, there is some wet snow up there over mid-Michigan. We are not expecting any accumulation for us in southeast part of the state. Detroit and Pontiac getting some wet weather. There's Mount Clemens, also some showers around Ann Arbor as well. How about live pictures right here in Mount Clemens? And you can see breeze with lots of clouds and some light rain shower activity. But the real story, the temperatures down 20, 30, even 40 degrees in some spots. So big change from yesterday, and this cooler pattern sticks around for the next 36 hours. There's 60. That was early this morning. It wasn't that bad this morning to start the day, but temperatures have been falling since then. Averages 46 and 29. They're the record. 74 today. And then 4 on the low side. 42 degrees right now with some light rain showers around the airport. The breeze from the south and west. 36 in Howell, 34 in Lansing, so it's cooler off to our west. 43 Windsor, 44 Mount Clemens. There's that breeze turning from southwest to northwest. That'll be happening for all of us over the next couple of hours. And yes, some chilly spots out there. Chicago 33, Marquette 28. Now look at the warm side of our system. Pittsburgh and Baltimore both at 68 degrees, as is Albany, New York, way up there in the Hudson River Valley. For us, it's going to be cooler. The showers end this evening. It's going to be a dry day tomorrow, which is St. Patrick's Day. Then, starting Tuesday, we're going to have a bit of a warmer pattern take shape for the area. There are still more chances for severe weather from the eastern Great Lakes down the eastern seaboard. This is this evening. We'll be watching that. Not for us. It's going to be cloudy and cooler. Evening showers and a few wet flakes mixing in. We're down to 28. Tomorrow is quiet, cool and dry. That's your St. Patrick's Day forecast, 47. And then up we go, 62 Tuesday, 66 Wednesday. There's a pretty good chance for some wet weather Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And yes, Thursday, we officially welcome spring. We'll check all of the numbers for you tonight on Fox 2 News at 10.
There you have it, the city of Detroit going green for the 67th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. We saw floats, clowns, bands, and so much more, all marching through Corktown this afternoon.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest celebrations of its kind, with tens of thousands lining the streets in all things green. St. Patrick, the namesake of the holiday, was actually born in Scotland. He died on March 17th, which is why the holiday is celebrated on that day. Some of the best cities to celebrate, of course, Boston, Chicago, famed for dyeing its river green. But I think Detroit should be among those listed.
They are working that way, and it was nice out there. Luckily, for the weather held off, some of that rain and stuff held off so they could have their parade.
Yeah, it's absolutely a beautiful thing that we see every single year, and it kind of moves into the week.
Ushers us in and ushers in spring.
Yeah,
love it.
People wearing their green pretty much all week.
Yep, you got it.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us for the HD Show. We'll be back here tonight at 10 o'clock with full news, weather, and sports.
We'll see you then. Have a great night.
See ya.